jumping live into the action. Excuse the technical issues, everyone, but now we are live. This is still the first game and still the beginning of the first game, so you have missed nothing. This is the best of 5 semifinals in the Leviathan tournament right here.
Yeah, Riley went and ganked Paz's electrical system IRL, so we had to have a quick little reboot, but we are still here, like we were saying, in this early stages. We, of course, can quickly go over the weapons one more time here. As we see, it's actually Winnie leading this lobby as of this moment. Still, of course, very, very early on, and we were kind of talking about it a little bit earlier, but 3 waters already being shown. The 1 verdant cleaver here for Patat, the 2 air weapons, 1 arrow edge, and 1 of the bulwarks, then 1 fire from Nariba, and then the 1 rogue earth gauntlet. But like I was saying a little bit before, a lot of these team compositions that like people might have had from before, like when we had our very, very first Leviathan tournament, rogues were all the rave, or was all the rave at that point here. So Patat probably already had that leveled up quite nicely, being a long time Leviathan player. So just pick that up and essentially pick up where you left off.
Yes, sir. That is it. We can look at here, right? Relentless links. Boom. Perfect stats. Let's start with Winnie here and look at his Illuviums a little bit. And these are the stats that we see right here.
Almost perfect.
Almost perfect. All of these Illuviums, like, they're not perfect. They're missing maybe 1% here, 1% there, but they are pretty much maxed out. And level-wise, level 60, level 60, level 60, level 60, and level 60. So this is incredible to see. And then on the other side here, we see level 40, level 30, level 30, which is going to be a huge difference in stats, right? We see maybe a perfect links here, though. Also not a perfect links and only level... what was it? Only level 50, which is still good. But yeah, definitely Mr. Creed. A big difference in power level regarding their Leviathan Illuviums.
Of course, this being the Leviathan tournament, as somebody who's maybe been watching IPL but has not had the opportunity to see the Leviathan side of things, what can... You were talking about the stats and the stats differences. What would... Like, what's the big effect if, say, I'm brand new, I jumped into Leviathan, but I have all the default Illuviums. What's the difference look like compared to somebody who's caught it themselves, trained it themselves?
So we do have a difference, I believe, of 30% stats that you can achieve with perfect stats and perfect level. So for every level that you increase from level 1 to level 60 is max level, you get increased stats. And that also has... And that is half of the stats you can increase your Illuviums with. The other one is the random stats you catch it with. So if you're very lucky and you find a Kara Dulo like this, with only movement speed missing, that means it has Omega Power, attack damage, attack speed, health and resistance is all maxed out stat-wise. And if it then is also level 60, it is a perfect Illuvium, the maximum strength it can have.
Fair enough. And with movement speed in particular, I think a lot of people will still argue that it's perfect, even if it doesn't have full movement speed, right?
Yes. There is one exception, though, which is the Floodline, which had a change where, because it doesn't auto-attack, it doesn't move, it would only need 3 stats, right? Health, resistance, and Omega Power. But because this feels a bit underwhelming, it has actually been reworked where attack speed, attack damage, and movement speed all count, I think, as Omega Power as well, and are all just as important as the other stats. So for the Floodline, you need all 6 out of 6 stats, but all the other Illuviums, yeah, movement speed is, in most cases, not very important, and in some cases it can even be a bad stat, because, for example, if you get taunted by a Quinx, you run faster towards that taunted target. Or in the beginning, sometimes you don't want to run very fast into the front line and you would like your fighters or your lynxes to arrive later than the enemy carries in the front line. So there is niche situations where actually movement speed can be bad.
That's really, really, really interesting. And you'll be able to see pretty much all these Illuviums. I imagine you see a little extra shine. If I recall correctly, that means they actually own said Illuvium. I imagine everybody who's made this top 16 has pretty much at least one of everything. So taking a look at some of this these compositions right here, right now. Winnie's got the remnants of a Mud Squad as of this moment. The Exalted Apon is here, ready to rock and essentially be the front line for the squad for the time being. Meanwhile, on the other side, it's a nice old hollowed out Twine as well there for Squawk. Front line looking strong, does have a couple of rogues looking to dive on through. The Lynx for a little bit of backup in this instance as well. Let's see how this one goes.
Let's see how it goes. We have the Predators trying to get into the backline. The relentless Lynx here with the Toxic Chip is going to do its best to carry this team. Let's check out the damage. The Chukul is currently leading next to the Lynx, and yeah, that might be enough. The Berserker Lynx here in the enemy team is looking pretty strong as well, but 2 versus 3. 1 versus 3, that's not a fair fight. And Squawk is going to take that.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm curious. That's an early Spore coming out to whoever you were just highlighting there for just a moment's time, but you hardly really ever see Spore at all unless it's an accident, but it looks like someone's actually intentionally going for it here. And with the chip, that would definitely be the reason why. Yep. Of course, we're at Abyssal Basin, so Abyssal Basin loves to throw a wrench into your plans in terms of your composites, sometimes boosting you, sometimes boosting something you didn't really want to go for in the first place, but it does make for some interesting stuff, like here from, I believe it's Mr. Creed who's got the 5 Air 2 Spore, but they're having a very, very hard time so far into this one. Not just a loss streak, but getting heavily beaten down to 38.
Yep, and we can check out all the composite chips here. So we have a Spore for Mr. Creed. We'll see how that goes. We have Harbinger on the rake for Nareba. This has been such a strong composite chip for the Umber, oftentimes winning lobbies. We have the Revenant for Web3 Gaming, Berserker for Winnie, another Revenant chip coming out for Patat as well. Seems still to be the go-to chip for rogues. Then we got another Berserker one for I'm a Fishy, Toxic for Squawk, and last but not least, another Berserker for Slick. So big contention here on the Riflens and the Monkeers Berserker unit.
Yes, very similarly to what we've seen in Pro League, just lots of fighters essentially being contested, splashed into every composition, if not being the sole focus. As we're going to see, I'm a Fishy put the absolute beat down here on Mr. Creed again, and a very, very strong fighter Berserker squad coming out there from I'm a Fishy. But getting those Berserker chips and just enabling those fighters so much more so quickly is just absolutely incredible, especially if you have that Ranger already with the fighter weapon as well. Getting 3 Berserkers by, what, round 15 at that point there? That is very, very tough to handle. And as much as I like Mr. Creed's team, I love the Spore style with air. Got dust in this as well. There's just so much firepower. You have to hope to dodge everything, and that's a tough task.
Yep, that is true. Let's see it. Mr. Creed, 26 HP. That's usually what happens in Leviathan. If you crash, you burn very fast, and it seems like he might be able to hold his own here versus Squawk, but Squawk with the very tanky, very sustained, heavy team here. 4 Nature, 3 Toxic, 6 Bulwarks. Just doesn't take damage. It just seems like a impenetrable wall. That wasn't the word that I was looking for. And yeah,
I know what you meant.
The Kukurov is trying its best, and it's holding out for so long with the Spore chip, but it's not going to be enough. And that's going to be another big chunk of damage to Mr. Creed, down to 13.
Man, that Kukurov was an absolute all-star in that fight, but yet it still could not quite pull through. I'm curious, is that if we right-clicked on that, what that Kukurov looks like stat-wise, because it held on for so long. Granted, it's kind of built like a semi-tank with the Spore chip and then the tank augment as well. A little bit of Omnivamp, I think, attached to the Omega Power augment there as well. But there was just no damage. It was surviving, but there was just no damage. And just the pure wall coming out from their opponent was just too much to deal with.
Yeah, especially if you have those perfect stats. Those tanks get tankier, the damage dealers get damagier. And usually all these fights are just like an extreme version of what we usually see in the Gauntlet.
100%. And now this very well could be an early exit here for Mr. Creed, going up against another player down towards the bottom. Nariba's been having a little bit of a hard time. If this team can get to late game okay, Nariba, I think, will be in a great position, like you had pointed out, with that Harbinger chip onto a Rake. Get that thing to an Umber, and I mean, we've seen plenty of unkillable Umbers, just absolute clutch out fights, and those weren't even Harbinger. An actual Harbinger Rake or a Harbinger Umber would be unbelievably deadly, but we have to get there first. They are very, very low, 37 health currently, but in a potential spot to knock out Mr. Creed.
Let's see if Mr. Creed can hold his own here versus these water units. The airs are gonna go hyperactive. Kukurov here in the front line is gonna tank forever. Big laser coming on through, gets stopped though, gets interrupted. The Rake trying to its best to get through the Quinks, but Quinks is so tanky. The laser does nothing, and the Rake does nothing, even though it's Harbinger. So let's have a look here in the front line. Everything is hyperactive, and finally,
oh boy,
we are in the back line, and that is not looking good for Nareba, who is now also going to be very close to being eliminated here in the first round of the best of 5 of the Leviathan tournament. Yep.
The lone OLA representative here in their tournament, and one of our frequent players that we see in the Illuvium Pro League having a little bit of a rough time here. These this setup is just looking a little bit rough, but we're seeing a couple more evolutions come around across the board. Winnie just found themselves the Exalted Monk here. I'm curious, or not, was it a monkey or a gorilla? I can't remember. But one of those monkeys, they leveled up completely all the way. That does give them the 3rd mud. But again, trying to find Monkier is just the bane of a mud player right now, because Monkier is basically taken on any team that'll accept it. Any sort of fighter is getting quick Berserker is just a very, very solid play. And it makes it so tough. But in this first fight here with Mr. Creed up against Slick, Slick's looking to maybe get a killing blow in this one. Tough, but let's see how it can go.
Yes, we see a fully augmatized foe here, which is level 60 and has perfect stats. So definitely a good carrier for that. But it's still just a foe.
So it got focused.
Stage 1, and the Kukurov is just such a beast. Dark Holo, by the way, level 60, decent stats as well. Legendary Illuvial, and in the backline we see the Fernite here, level 55, pretty much perfect stats as well, doing a lot of damage. Let's check it out. 10,000 coming out from the Fern, 9,000 from the foe. Right. So once this one levels up to a Forest, it's gonna be a force to be reckoned with. But for now, Mr. Creed holds his own against Slicks, and Nareba is down to 3 HP.
And it's so crazy, the foe, it's just a little guy, but yet it was fully loaded with augments and had the right stats. It was doing so well until the Kukurov started stun locking it, and then it just could not move. So again, just this beautiful Kukurov coming on through there for Mr. Creed, helping push this air composition over. But now, one person who could be pushed out of this lobby, of course, is Nariba, sitting at 3 HP, has to go up against Slicks again. Here we go. Can they get this Harbinger to work up against these 7 fighters? 3 Berserkers coming out here on the other side from Slicks. Laser coming on through here from the Sinelf's going to just essentially tickle. A lot of red units still there. The Rake is still rather healthy. Good shot from the Sinelf, but it's going to go directly into the little Ador, who is just healing up everything. And the Blotto actually assisting the healer to make it so that the Rake can't even actually take this thing down until it's too little, too late. The Rake shall be swarmed, and I'm not sure if they're going to have the firepower to do it. They're damn well going to try. Can the little foe actually turn this around? That's exactly what we're looking for from this little Rake. And that's going to keep Nariba in this game.
Wow. Yep, that's the Harbinger Rake. That's what you get. Once this guy is an Umber, the game is pretty much over. So I don't know if people are gonna... Well, Nariba's on 3 HP, so everybody's just praying that it's not gonna happen. Mammoth also very close here for him. Umber's still some far way away, so it's not too bad. He's gonna go up versus Winnie right here, who is still on 3 mud units. Everybody, like you said, going for those Berserker Greater Monkiers. So we're gonna see how that one goes.
You know, at least here for Winnie, they did find 1 more Greater Monk here, but they still have to find, I think, 3 more of them to actually get this fully evolved. Still have, I think, about 40 health left in the pool to try and get this thing through. Once again, it is going to be hyperactive here on the green side, and it is going to be super effective indeed. So many more Illuvials still alive. They made that one look easy up against Mud.
Yes, sir. Well, I guess Nariba is on a little comeback streak. Winnie now also down to 8 HP. Mr. Creed knocked out at 0 HP. There goes Tempest. And Spore. Very off meta at the moment. But we don't really see any meta build. Because Nareba is the only one with a fire weapon, but he goes full water.
And that's the thing with all these patches coming out. What might necessarily be meta in the Illuvium Pro League, for example, people might not have had enough time to level up fire. Because before this, let's be honest, fire was kind of like a middling class. Like you didn't really, like you weren't upset to have it, but you would never focus it. Playing Inferno a patch ago, nobody would play Inferno a patch ago, not a chance. So what are the chances that people actually have fire leveled right now, unless they somehow got a hang of the IPL meta extremely early and just hard focused on leveling day after day fire? I highly doubt anybody was able to do that unless they have a massive team there to back them up, which a lot of these players thankfully do. That massive team, massive family to try and raise these Illuvials, but it is no guarantee.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I do believe a lot of them have perfect teams all across. Like many of them have perfect rogue teams, which is a lot of the fires already, and the fires are pretty cheap except for the ramp fight. You have well, you have one tier 5, one tier 4, one tier 3 with the Rampy, the Seer, and the Ace. And then everything else is tier 1 basically. So it's not too bad. We see a Seer here for I'm a Fishy. Let's see.
Speaking of the Seer, yeah.
Let's see the stats on this one. Level 50, just missing a bit of Omega power. Not bad.
It's got the tank at least.
Yep, let's swap over to Web3 Gaming. By the way, that's my bet for for the semifinals. It's a little bit late.
My bet was on to Winnie, and they're on the potential death's door here, so we'll have to see how that goes. But of course, trying to see if Nariba can keep themselves into this game. Sentinel Beam's going to go right into the Revo, and the Revo does a fantastic job of just rolling away from the rest of the team, so that did not get much value on that first cast. The second cast is doing a pretty decent job, though, shredding through many, and now it's going to team up and try to take down this Goliath alongside this Rake. Here we go, one more time, it's into the Penguin. Even if it's untargetable, it does not matter. But just needs one more try, and there we go. Nariba is going to be able to hang on to this one. Put the hurt here onto the green side for the moment's time. Winnie, did they get the hang on, or did they end up falling in this one? But damn, over 10k damage from both the Mammoth and the Rake there. We did end up losing Winnie in that one. So we'll fall in this first game in 7th place, but I'm a Fishy took a massive hit in that one as well.
Yes, we're gonna see Nareva versus Slicks, and we also have I'm a Fishy versus Web3 Gaming. Who do you think? Can they both survive this round? I think I'm a Fishy's gonna have a hard time versus these rogues here.
I definitely worry, because especially if you had just pulled up the credits there, if this is completely accurate, Web3 Gaming doesn't only have a devastating team, but they are rich. They have so much credits in the bank still to actually make a move. They might have just pumped some into a level, but I'm officially going to pump some here as well. That is the fully evolved Jotun. The Bolt Warfare is here ready to rock, but it has to deal with this Penguin and Malura.
Yeah, we got double Behemoth now with legendary augments on them. Jotun has 2 of them and falls like a paper plane that I made, because I'm not good at paper plane making. And also the Seer will fall shortly after, like they were nothing. Behemoth, one of the most feared compositions, taken out easily here by Web3 Gaming's rogues.
I mean, the power's in the Vanguard, and you got the Revenant there for a little bit of backup as well. Just being able to take down these tanky targets is just such an efficient way to play, as long as you're not really contested, because you eventually do need some of these fully evolved Illuvials. Even though Web3 doesn't have slash in right now, it did not matter. Malura would just hold the line for them that entire time and just let the stab and just wail away completely safely. And now we could very well get down to our podium, depending on how this goes. We got Slicks and Patat. Someone's getting eliminated for sure here. Nariba's still on the bubble, possibly getting knocked out. Slashin is here actually though, but it's Patat that's holding on to it.
Yeah, let's see if Patat can do it. It's gonna be a tough one. We got the evolved Forest right now with the Berserker chip on the side of Slicks, which is gonna be the biggest threat. It is gonna run into a charm though from the Lulura, so there's a little bit of health coming out. Big ramp fight, Omega raining down, not doing too much damage. Second win, healing a bunch, and there is the Slashin, just slashing away. Finally being able to take down the Grunk. Was on that forever. Ramfight tries to cast and cast, but it just does no damage. Slashin hanging on to just a little bit of life, falls in the end, but that's gonna be enough for Patat to stay alive.
The ramp fight ended up being a pseudo tank there for the Slashin, because there was an instance where that Slashin nearly got completely focused down, but ramp fight came back down from their Omega right at the right time and at least split the focus of that group of 5 Illuvials that went towards that Slashin. Focused some of them away, and the Slashin did not get bursted. It was down to about a quarter HP, but the final blow could not get there. The Revenant procs came in, it kept it safe, and good on that ramp fight to hold its own for its carry.
Yep, 100%. Did go up, I think, 4 times in a row. Here we have an interesting team as well. We got double Wildfire, Forest with the Wildfire. We have Riptorus here with the Hyper Strike Protocol. Let's see if Slashin can do it again.
I mean, of course, every time you fire off an Omega as a Wildfire, your next auto attack starts to burn the next Illuvial, and Forest puts its Omega out there extremely quickly. Ramfight, Ramfight in the background doing some pretty quick Omegas actually. Is going to be able to burst down the Archos. Just a matter of dealing with the Fernite now, but Forest has returned to try and get involved, but is kind of stuck on some of the meat shields, some of the tankier members here. That Penguin is extremely low, but it's only the Blotto focusing at the time. But Forest is still essentially left to do what it wants to, and the Wildfire, it's spreading. The Blotto and the Forest don't even have to be necessarily attacking it directly because the fire has spread. It's been slowly but surely whittling away down on Patat's Slashin, and with the Slashin and the big carry gone, that in theory should be an elimination, I think, or at least very, very close here in our top 3.
Oh my god. Top 2 actually. Patat and Slicks out. Nareba out. Everybody's out. Just Squawk and Web3 Gaming remaining. And they're gonna take a chill pill here. Have a breather with the PvE round for a second.
Yeah, Web3 blew a ton of credits over the last round and a half or so, because they went down from 80 to about 15. So very, very happy to see this Empath NPC rounds coming on through. Try to reload a little bit. Same thing here with Squawk.
Must be so happy that
currently
that Patat is out. Now he can find the stabbing himself.
100. Yep, that would be absolutely huge. Blazonite online now here for Squawk as well. Does that complete? Is that 3 or 4 Wildfire now? It would be 3 because there is no Chicondi, but still, just increasing the value from that Wildfire will be absolutely deadly. Slashin on board. There it is. It does have the Omni Spark as well, so I'd argue a little bit of a better legendary. Umber online here as well. This is going to get nasty, but there are still a lot of tanky bodies here, and with that spreading Wildfire, it's still anybody's game.
That is gonna be a crazy one. Let's quickly look at the affinities here. We got Wildfire. We got 4 Toxic. We got Aegis. Who is the Aegis buffing up? I guess everyone a little bit, not really focused on anyone. And now we're gonna jump into the game. It's gonna be Slashin here in the backline. Our favorite Penguin getting rooted in place. Good CC there coming out from the Arcos. Umber on the other side doing good damage as well. Croco, Blotto, and all of those are falling. And it's gonna be enough here for Web3 Gaming to take Squawk down to 1 HP.
One final attempt here for Squawk to pull this one off, to try and make a dent here into Web3. At least we have a couple of fully loaded augments here onto the carousel. Of course, probably one of the last times we'll see this carousel in tournament play, as it will be leaving us in the next patch. And we're seeing Squawk pick up the one in regards to shields, getting the little damage amp, or not a little damage amp, a lot of damage amp as soon as you hit somebody's shield. A little bit of extra starting energy as well, maybe supercharge one of your wildfire users. If I recall, I did just see Rip Lance has been evolved. So one more big fighter, got the Berserker here as well. Since that Monk here is still sticking around, it might just be a little greater Monk here, but it is bringing the value.
Yep, that's gonna be a crazy one. We have fully evolved Illuvials on both sides. We're gonna watch from the perspective from Squawk. A little bit of a reposition here, going over to the left side. Let's see if it's gonna be enough for him.
All eyes on the Death Pengu and that Umber. If you don't have both of the super carrier or one super carrier, you have both of them. Look how fast that Blotto just got shredded. It wasn't even close. Forwards actually got focused down as well. There's no chance. Web3, you're an absolute king in the IPL in the early season, and you are going to translate that directly into this Leviathan tournament in game number 1. An absolute fantastic showing, winning game number 1 of this semifinal.
GG's, well played, Web3 Gaming. Yes, he won the last Leviathan tournament series as well, hosted by Tempest, and he's doing good here. First game in the semifinals.
I don't know if you could hot swap this, but this is kind of crazy. The last second Umber on the other side in the other lobby. Zico Perico with a 3 legendary augment Umber.
Again, both lobbies with legendary augments.
This one was Shard Bluff, so it was even crazier, but Zico Perico takes the win in the other lobby with actually Dr. Spoon short to follow there in second alongside Soda.
So we have a double Umber win. Well, for one team, it was more the slash in the carrying factor for Web3 Gaming. Okay, we have a fire team in second place. Interesting. Yeah, we're gonna see that second lobby in a second here in our second game. That was a good start. Oof.
Yeah, incredible first couple games here. The fact that we even got legendary augments and composites and all this other stuff just make it that much more interesting as well. Really puts both those lobbies actually in a very, very interesting position. Had to adapt quickly, not just to, of course, the new Leviathan formats, but having those crazy augments on there as well. Do we see something maybe a little bit more tame in game 2, or does it continue to bring chaos?
Give me Leviathan with legendary augments. I want to see that everything is just supercharged.
When I tapped over and saw what, like, almost a 10,000 health Umber that would not die, and it just sat there in front of everything, my jaw hit the floor for a second there, because that thing was absolutely ridiculous.
I do understand. I felt the same way. Yeah, because of technical issues earlier, we kind of lost in this stream the introduction, so I'm gonna just speed run this one. So please bear with me if you already have heard it. We're gonna make it a quick one. So this is the Leviathan series, hosted by Ola.gg and sponsored by Illuvium. They have been doing a great job. Today we are in the semifinals. Tomorrow are gonna be the grand finals. So today we go from 16 down to 8 players. Tomorrow we go down to the one grand champion. It's 7,000 bucks on the line. First place gets 2,500. Big paycheck right here. And there is even more to come in things in regards of Leviathan. By the way, this is not our last tournament series. There is more to come and bigger things to come for Leviathan. I cannot spoiler too much, but yeah. There's good things on the horizon for Leviathan, is what I can say. Format explainer. We had 3 qualifier tournaments, each 32 players in them. And the top 16 players out of these qualifier tournaments are now with us here in the semifinals. Best of 5 is what we have today. Tomorrow, with 8 players, we have another best of 5 to crown the grand champion. And these are our players. That's it. Time.
And stop the clock. That was a very, very good, very, very quick description. And perfect, if I do say so myself. But again, this is still just the tip of the iceberg for the amount of matches we're going to have here today. Like you had mentioned, best of 5. That was only game number 1. So we are still very, very early on here. Some of these players, some of your favorites, or someone you're rooting for didn't have a good game number 1. Well, that's okay. So plenty more to come.
Yes, let us know in chat who you are rooting for. I have my bet on Web3 Gaming, which now after the first game is even easier to bet for him. And What was your bet?
I was looking to see if Winnie could make the upset sort here, the not so IPL regular making it into the grand final. A little bit of a rough game number 1, but plenty of time.
Yeah, Winnie is one of the Leviathan OGs. He has been pushing for Leviathan training sessions because it's 2 different queues, right? You don't have many players playing Leviathan usually because everybody is playing for the normal gauntlet for the IPL. And I remember Winnie always coming together, bringing together the people to battle it out in Leviathan and test the balance of it because everything is supercharged, right? The balance is definitely different to the normal game. Of course, fire will still be good on this patch in Leviathan, but many other things behave way differently. So I'm curious to see a normal game in a normal region without so many legendary augments, how that's gonna go down.
Yeah, because if I was just to base it off of this round or first set of games, it looks like water's the dominant force here with the current meta, which is a little bit reverse to what we see in the standard gauntlet. Like, water's good in gauntlet, don't get me wrong, still very, very strong, but not to the point where we have 4 people in each game like fighting for it. Not that crazy, but I don't know. It's very interesting to see.
Yes, sir. All right, players getting ready for game number 2. It's gonna be a fiery one. I can't wait for it. We're gonna watch the other lobby. Who's in the other lobby? We got Not Complain, Zico Perico,
Spoon,
Sota, Fox Spirit, Furies, Hollow, Spooky. Spooky, I believe, is a rebranded himself. He used to be Patch Tourist.
Okay, I like Spooky a little bit better then.
Yes.
It's quicker.
It's quicker. Easier for us. Very memorable.
Nothing wrong with Patch Tourist, but I like Spooky better.
Yes. Well, maybe he's not a Patch Tourist anymore. Because I think that kind of alludes to always starting the game back up, checking it out again once there is a patch, and then like always kind of being a tourist once the new patch comes out, kind of thing. Raid logging.
Okay, so like all my fighting game community members, when a new game or a new patch comes out, it's like, okay, this is my chance to finally become a professional. They get their rear handed to them a few times online. It's like, I'll see you next patch. And then they just end up giving up. Okay. Yep. I like Spooky even more than now. That also allude to something you said there too. There's more coming in regards to Illuvium. Well, that's more coming in regards to Leviathan in Illuvium. That's very, very exciting. I'm not going to press yet because I know you say you can't reveal anything yet, but just let that little hint be, I guess, more the reason to make sure that you keep catching your alluvials, keep training them, because they will absolutely have use, and you need to be practiced with your team.
Yes, and when I started out as a content creator, one of the major goal was to interview all of the Warwicks. And once I was very nervous when I had Aaron Warwick in my first AMA, but he's such a nice guy and so cool to talk to. And one of my most important questions that I wanted to ask him is, because I come from Hearthstone as well a little bit, I played a lot of Hearthstone, and I always hated the fact that you have like rotations, same like in Magic the Gathering, where old cards get out of the competitive rotation and you are not allowed to be used anymore in competitive play. So I asked him, for example, will my Rampfire always be valuable? Will it always be able to be played in competition and so on? And he said, yes, that's the goal. All of the Illuvials are supposed to never be depreciated and never be out of rotation, and your Atlas will always be able to be played competitively in ranked. So I'm really happy about that.
No, it's definitely awesome, because especially as some of these other alluvials become a little bit like more sets eventually come out, and the older ones are harder to find, like there's going to be team compositions that you're going to wish you, I guess, farmed a little bit the longer this game goes on. But you say you came from Hearthstone. I bet I can trigger you with 4 words. Everyone get in here.
I love playing that one. I was on the right side of this matchup.
Okay, I was gonna say either it's gonna bring back good memories or I'm gonna trigger you. One of the two.
That was so fun. I'm such a how do you say that? Like a meta addict. Like I really love to just find whatever is overpowered and abuse everything out of it.
Hey, at least you're honest.
Yes, it is the greatest fun I had in gaming. I think just like when you're not playing too bad, but then also get something super broken. Like for example, now you get like uncontested fire. You're gonna have a good time. It's not really fair, but you're gonna have a good time.
Oh, absolutely. And looks like we've gotten to our second game here. Of course, this is lobby number 2. Going to check out the other one here on the main stream. We'll tap in to see what lobby 1 is up to here and there. But we do have... Is that Shard Bluff?
That is Shard Bluff. The reactive bluffs channel only greatness. Draft rounds are only legendary augments. Again, really? It's scripted, I think.
In the other lobby as well, Shard Bluff, everybody starts with a legendary augment.
What? We have 4 games in a row legendary augment rounds? That is crazy. Yep. You love to see it. All right,
we're raiding time here for weapons.
Yes, I love when I see them picking them. We already got 2 fire weapons. Fox Spirit on the Gauntlet and then Sota on the Boomerang.
Yeah, this is a little bit more traditional. What feels like for the current patch at hand here. We've got fire, but at least 1 fire of each type. Not everybody's going for the boomerang or didn't have access to the boomerang on this first one. But Fox is doing what I'll call the Leviathan special here. You've got the tank and you've got 2 baby lynxes, and I think you're set for a while. Yeah, that thing's going to hit like a truck right off the rip there. So as long as there's enough alluvials to back them up, it should be able to kind of fast forward them into this mid game with a little bit of comfort. But going up against Dr. Spoon, still, of course, I mean, early on, of course, but still having their little bit of a win streak for themselves as well. With another fully loaded up Baby Lynx takes care of the one, it takes care of the second. Fleece lasers across the board. But it looks like the swarm from Dr. Spoon is just going to be too powerful, and it's actually going to knock Fox Spirit down a peg. Oh my. All of these rogues just look like absolute powerhouses here. Going up against Dr. Spoon this time. Furies, of course, our IPL winner from just yesterday in that IPL 1000. Looking to put their mark onto the Leviathan scene as well. I think they even may have taken a Leviathan tournament a couple of times before. So far relying really heavily, or Dr. Spoon rather, really relying heavily on this ace to be doing the damage. But thankfully, of course, it is perfect. Going even up against the hypered up Lura. Where's that charm that could be a difference maker? How much damage does it do? About a quarter of its HP, but the ace will take to the skies, and I imagine the napalm strike is going to be able to finish the job just enough before the next Omega comes out. Now, apologies if you're asking me something, because I have a hard time hearing you at the very moment here. But taking a look at this draft deck, fully loaded up with legendary augments and chips on top of that as well. Everybody going to have an absolute fantastic time. Soda picking up that Void Cleaver for a bunch of additional splash damage. Not Complain's got the one where you get a bunch of Omega Power right off the rip. And everybody else getting some sort of juicy buff to their squad.
Yep, looking good. Thanks for the reminder there. I am back. And yeah, I was just talking about how it is beautiful that you actually play with your own Illuvials that you captured, that you trained. I know pay to win is definitely a no-go for the competitive scene, but in this sense, I like to compare it more to Pokemon, where you form this bond with the monsters you capture and train. And I think this will be even more prevalent once we go into the MMO and once you really run around with your companion Illuvial day in, day out a little bit more. But for now, we're gonna go up into the next game. Dr. Spoon versus Hollow, and both are on a 100 HP win streak. Who's gonna take this?
I mean, it's going to really have to rely on this ace to actually get the job done. The ace versus 5. I mean, that was a pretty decent carpet bomb, but it's going to not be able to take care of all those Illuvials at once. So Dr. Spoon will end up falling because Hollow takes them down.
Yes, and also the ace was difference maker in the enemy team here. Level 50.
7,000 already?
7,000 damage. Once you hit that Artace, that is such a huge power spike, as it usually is with fires, but in Leviathan, Artace feels even more busted, especially with the right augments. Everybody's removing their units. That means we have our first legendary augment here in the game. Well, no, we have
either that or a chip
already.
or some kind.
Yeah, some synergy chip.
But to tap onto what you were mentioning before, as this fight does go on here with Fox Spirit, no, 100%, there's that special little bit about actually battling with the Illuvials that you found, you caught, you raised, or had somebody like work with you to just absolutely raise them. But we've even seen in the chat, like some people said, they've spent quite a little bit, and yet they still didn't make it into like the top cut. And it's like, I know pay to win is definitely something a lot of people are worried about, but it is not as prevalent as you think. You still have to pilot, you still have to command your Illuvials to do exactly what they need to do. It's not just a matter of rolling your face on the keyboard and making sure that you have perfect Illuvials and you insta-win. Nothing like that. Not here, not ever. So,
yep,
loving to see that.
Yeah, it gives you, like, there is two important things, and like you said, first of all, it's not a guaranteed win, right? Just because you have the better team doesn't mean you auto-win. Of course, somebody that installed the game today, jumps in, has not a single caught Illuvial, they're not gonna have a chance here, but if you have like a medium-sized deck versus a perfect deck, you still have a chance. It's not impossible. And the other side of things is that, especially once the player base keeps rising and more Illuvials are in the supply, it's gonna get easier and easier for players to actually get a full perfect deck. So it's not something that only one player in Illuvium has. So all of these players here, they have ownership over very good decks, and it's a very fair fight here at the top, I would say. And then as long as you always find someone that has a similar deck as you, or a weaker deck but stronger skill, or stronger skill but weaker deck, and yeah, it's gonna balance itself out.
And then just a collection aspect, of course, because I think there's something special about saying that you have maybe the first ever Rampfire or something like that, right?
Yes! I freaked out when I got this. I didn't really consider stats back then, so it has horrible stats, but it's my one and only Rampfire, and it was the world first one. It will forever be the world first one. It is marked as so in the Louis decks, and yeah, it is something I will never forget, and I will never sell, except somebody wants to give me a lot of money, in which case, reach out.
I mean, fair enough, and regardless of the stats, that's an incredible achievement. But some players looking for maybe an incredible achievement in this instance here is if Hollow can keep this win streak going. It's not looking so guaranteed, though, in this instance. We're seeing the red squad absolutely swarm down, but it is actually Hollow on the red side, so yeah, actually going to keep that win streak going quite beautifully. the rogues with a Archos as backup, interestingly enough, is going to be able to do that. It's like verdant rogues, but instead of a twine, you have a Archos.
It is a funky build for sure. And he also, because he's on a win streak, right? Sharp Bluff in the draft round, you can select legendary augments, which means he gets the last pick of the litter. So his legendary augment is not that good, which is also a reason why these players down here are down here. Most of them do it on purpose, to have the first pick at a legendary augment, and we see that with... Did they change the name again?
Yeah, it used to be the Eternal Hunger, now the Absorption Cells, but yeah, the snowballing damage and takedown augments. I know a lot of people don't necessarily value it as heavily anymore as what the old Eternal Hunger was, but it can still be absolutely devastating. And I mean, if you find a Slash-in and you give it that is one of the perfect alluvials that you can actually give it to. Yeah,
it feels like a worse version of Combat Rhythm, now that I think about it.
In a sense.
Because, yeah, you do get crit chance as well, though, so it is very good for Vanguards. But all the legendary augments have been nerfed quite a bit. We have Nova Heart here for Fox Spirit. That's a good one for your tanks. Gives you Thorns as well. So much reflect damage, but that's a flat stat, right? And usually what's best in Leviathan is anything that gives you like percentage health increase. Because you, yeah, your base health is so boosted from the stats and levels.
Into this next fight, though, I'm going to be keeping my eye on that Rake. It literally just popped 2 alluvials with 1 cast. That was incredible to see. It just completely destroyed the Revo that had the tank augment on it as well. It's going to be the last one standing on the team. It does have to go up against that Penguin, but it has so much sustain. It has a bunch of Omega power, which may not necessarily be perfect, but it's still going to be able to capitalize beautifully. Nicely done.
Yeah. Really well done. Crit chance and Omega power, super strong stats for the Rake here, this legendary augment. Love to see it.
Somebody in chat, Paper Pyramids in chat regarding to Overworld with Friends. Well, from what I understand, the MMO is basically going to be just that, but of course, it's still a work in progress. From what I understand, there'll be something maybe playable in the next upcoming months. I don't know the exact details by any means, but if playing the Overworld with your friends is something you're looking forward to, I don't think you're going to have to wait that long.
Yeah, I don't know. There is definitely some demos planned and playtests and stuff like this. I don't know if it's going to be like a fully open playtest and stuff like this.
Right.
But there is going to be like small playtests, and it's gradually going to get bigger and bigger. But yes, the massive multiplayer experience in the Overworld, that is coming. That is being developed right now. And you will probably see something at the very least at the end of this year, and then probably gonna be able to play it yourself somewhat in the first half next year. I would assume. Please take it with a grain of salt. I don't have any exact dates.
Yeah, no major insider knowledge here, but of course, I know it's something I would love to be able to do as well. I know a lot of people have been very, very eager about that, so I'm looking forward to it. And I'm sure all of you are as well. And these players, especially the ones who maybe have hurting a little bit early in this one, are eager to see what kind of legendary augments they can steal here from this carousel. Fury's going to end up picking up the, I'm going to call it the Eternal Hunger, even though I know it's not Eternal Hunger, Absorption Cells. Pick that thing up alongside a little Fury. Not a bad way to use if you want. It may not necessarily be a rogue, but you can still do a ton of auto attack damage. What else do we got? Another Void Caller there for Soda. Wow. The one that Hollow, I feel like a lot of people sleep on, though. Is that the one that does burn and poison? That's one I feel like it's slept on a lot from like a casual player base. Yeah, the red.
Yeah.
Liquid.
That is again really good because poison does percentage health damage, so that's again amplified with stats and levels. And yeah, it's really good versus sustainy teams. It reduces heal and all of that. So yeah, Blightfire it used to be called. Oh, it's still Blightfire, yeah. Like it gives you
healing reduction as well, yeah.
Yeah, this burn gives you a 50% healing reduction. And then a 2% max health is pure damage on the Toxic. But it seems like the fights are too fast to get the value out of this legendary augment, and something like A Furiox with 2 Void Cleavers. 10,000.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, almost 10k, and that was a 10-second fight?
So fast. It doesn't even have attack speed, or like, you could still get, I don't know, maybe Charge Force Reactor is good. It is definitely strong.
I mean, you're talking about percentage increases, and that's about the highest damage, like raw damage increase you could probably find in one augment.
And they have lightning
percentage
speed.
Pure damage too.
Yeah,
and lightning speed. There you go.
Because usually you need some kind of attack speed, so I was wondering, but there you go. Full damage augments with attack speed. Drone augment. That's gonna work. That's gonna help you out.
So that thing is gonna be devastating. God forbid that gets evolved into a Scoriox. This lobby is going to be in for a world of hurt.
Yes, sir. Here we have the current win streaker, Sika Perico. I'm wondering how he does it. Let's see the affinities. He's going up versus, again, this infamous Furiox here on the other side. Let's see how fast this Furiox can kill the Crunk. And anything that stands beside it. Because once it casts its ability, its damage, its auto attack deals splash damage. So, which is going to be now. And now everything here is going to be splashed, and we just see so much damage coming in. 10,000, 11,000. Enemy team wasn't even able to wake up yet from the hibernation, and it's already over.
Between the Furiox firing on all cylinders and the 2 Arctaces flying around like somebody hacking in my Call of Duty lobbies, just dropping bombs on everybody, like that was absolutely brutal to see. There was nowhere that green squad could go. Completely pummeled. Double Arctace was insane. Over 11k here from the Furiox once again. Had a little bit of a harder time dealing with that Crunk, but even still, it just above average takedown speed on that, and it was brutal.
Yeah, that was crazy. Now we have a PvE round. Maybe we want to have a look at the other lobby, how they are doing.
Absolutely quick little lobby breakdown. As of this moment, we do have Ima Fishy leading the charge with that stoic Zephyr Lynx going to be holding the line for their Furiox and their Tianti. Slick's Hype right behind them as well with a little bit more of a fighter-based composition. Mr. Creed having a much better game number 2 here with a heavy grass-centric, maybe a little bit of Aegis as well. Winnie's in the midfield currently, looking for maybe Mud once again. Does have the Riptorus as well for some backup. Squawk also going for a Empath-styled air with a little bit of firepower with the Arctace alongside the Furiox. Nariba having a little bit of a hard time once again. Went for Rogues. Looks like they're not quite able to find what they're looking for, but they're rolling. They've got Malura. Maybe they'll find Slashin' soon. Web3 Gaming and Patat are going to line up the rest of this lobby here with a fire and another attempt at a fighter comp, it looks like.
Beautiful. All right, back to the live game. Who are we watching? Should we go down to the bottom? Spooky versus Furies. Bottom versus bottom. Always a tough matchup, a sweaty one. Let's see who can take it. The Rogues from Furies or the Airs from Spooky?
I mean, I'm looking at that Axon on the left-hand side here for Spooky. That is probably the most health I've ever seen on a Axon. But it's not necessarily the first one really tanking in this instance. Now it's finally getting into the fray, going to walk into that Rampite. Granted, the Omega doesn't necessarily do that much, but neither is the damage coming out from the Axon. It just kind of got shredded. I love how tanky it is, but look at that stab and look at the Rampite. They did exactly what they need to do. Just focus each individual target and pop them.
I need to see this again. Wait, the replay as well. This stab end just with the double absorption cells stacked up 900 attack damage. It starts with 360 already, but it was just a few auto hits shy of getting 1000 attack damage, which is I've never seen before.
Okay, when nothing gets to a slash, and it'll just be like that one Scoriox. We'll have some absolute super carries. This is how these Illuvials stand out compared to your standard ones. It'll be absolutely memorable. But let's see, can these Rogues deal with now Zico Perico's like semi-bunkered up squad?
Yep, a little bit spread out. We need a Arcelion heal, but Arcelion is sitting in the middle, letting their teammates die. Phosphorus, my camera is going a bit crazy. On the what is happening?
Oh my goodness. Hit one.
Phosphorus, go! You're getting some special effects here. Get it. Yes. I'm getting a bit dizzy.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe hit one or try to reboot the camera in that instance there. Oh, we're still going.
This is funny.
Is your mouse wheel kind of doing something funny? Or I don't know. That's interesting.
I'm not sure what's happening, but we'll be right back. Today's the day of technical difficulties, it seems like.
Well, maybe we just try to stick to default for now and hope that we aren't trying to do a Illuvium arena battle in the midst of an earthquake here in Sanctum Mesa, but we'll have to hope it holds for the time being. Looking like we got Hollow, we've got Fury, a bunch of the hype players down towards the bottom as of this moment. Also want to point out the evolution there for Zico Perico. Blotto online, so they'll have more than one Aegis as they go into their next fight. But, of course, taking a look at that stabbing, it is going to be absolutely nasty. Absorption cells as well onto this thing. Does have the old Chrono Flux, so it's going to be getting attack speed over and over as it continues to strike. And it's not even all on the stabbing in this instance either. There is just so much value coming through so many rogues. Holy smokes, this Rampite just won't sit down. It's a pogo stick Rampite. But it is going to end up falling. That was a damn well lot of damage. 20,000 damage from that Rampite, and it still wasn't enough.
Yep. If it maybe had better augments, like if this was a second, if this was like, I forgot the name, the one that stacks up Omega Power and Omnivamp, that could have looked so different. But this made it really tanky with the Chronic Guard, then Stasis after.
I was so surprised, like, why is nothing dying? But it was slowly just kind of being healed from that legendary augment, and it was still relatively tanky.
All right,
Let's see
Hollow.
if we can maybe see our Rampite here once again, because Hollow needs this, because not complaining could very well knock them out.
Yes, we got Hollow here, and he tries to take on the double rakes with the Synalf. So this is looking really scary, and it's all down to the stab. And as always, here comes a big Rampite. Omega almost takes down the Oxodon, will fall in the end. And it seems like green is just faster, but here the double rakes are still alive. And they're gonna take on the Rampite and the Stabbin. And the Rampite is gonna try its best again. Self-heal every cast, casting so many times. But the rakes take them down, and Hollow goes down to 0 HP. That's heartbreaking.
How do you target something when they're both going in and out of targetability like that? That's actually infuriating. The Rampite was honestly the only option through its Omega. And otherwise, it was basically cooked, but because it couldn't really auto-attack, it couldn't charge its Omega. The only way it could charge it was by getting hit, which eventually you're just going to run out of steam. So unfortunate for Hollow, an early exit here in game number 2, trying to make this rogue style work. Valiant effort, but not this time.
All right, we got Spooky here with the Indomitable, making your unit a granite unit, basically. Taking no damage early game. We got Blightfire on Fox Spirit. All tanky augments being picked up, except for Not Complain. Everybody else took the tanky ones. I guess you already have so much damage, and you just try to squeeze out a few more seconds, as these fights just are over so fast. Especially versus stuff like Sota is playing here in the top. Full fire, that's so much damage.
Yeah, like I'm very curious because one player I believe picked up the Life Storm, and that I usually call those for probably being one of the weakest legendary augments in the game, and they picked it up rather early. Just the current range, I know they've buffed it many times in terms of making their range stronger, but just the passive healing that you get from it in such a small area, even with it being percentage based, I still feel like it's still extremely underwhelming, especially when you have things like this Furiox on Soda's team that is going to essentially out-heal that and essentially pop you even through the tag augments.
Yes. As we watch Spooky Red here at the bottom, 17 health, found a Jotun, has 6 air, and look at this Goliath. Double inner limit breaker, plus 6 air. This is an absolute crazy tank, and I want to see this guy in action. I want all the rogues on him. It seems like also the Matu is going to be tanking really well with the Invulnerable, so backline is fully untouchable. for a long time. Now finally the damage comes through. Mammoth is gonna go instantly down, and now the Goliath over here isn't really tanking all that much. Finally, all the other rogues join it, and look how long it can stand there, holding that slash in. That gives the Jotun enough time to finally focus down the slash in just seconds. And that's gonna be enough. This hyperactive Jotun is not gonna be able to be stopped by any of the units left alive here for Furies, and Spooky will hold on to its 17 health.
Wow, as soon as I saw Furies picking up the slash in, I thought that fight was over, but it was a perfect scenario here for the Illuvials of Spooky. They backed each other up quite nicely. That fully evolved Jotun with the additional stun on its autos, I think due to the Behemoth, was absolutely clutch in shutting down a bunch of those hyper carries, at least not letting them snowball too quickly, and being able to actually focus the Penguin and focus down like the Malura after the fact before it could even fire charms off. Beautifully done. Awesome little squad here. We didn't see 6 air do very good in the last game, but it's awesome to see they're turning it around right here, right now. So we have more people on the verge of being eliminated, including a fan favorite, no, 2 fan favorites. Furies as well as Fox Spirit could be taken down in this game.
Yes, and it's gonna be Fox Spirit's Mammoth here with triple legendary augment, trying to hold on against the Furiox, and it's looking pretty good. Furiox is down, Mammoth is standing strong, and it seems like Sota is gonna take a big hit here. They still have to kill this Artes, which is doing its best to hold on, dodging the cast of the Mammoth, but enemy Artes will not be able to take it down. Sota takes down Fox Spirit. He must be fuming, because I don't know what went wrong. This looked so good. This Artes is cracked. Level 60 perfect stats. And yeah, you have... This is, I think, a key augment on it. Restorating Impact Reactor. Just constantly healing. It's so good.
Yep. I think the Mammoth fell to the fire as that one-on-one was happening between the Arctaces, and I think that was just enough of a heal, and the fact that the one Arctase was fighter might have had just a tiny little bit more auto attack speed and was able to actually win that duel. That's definitely a heartbreaker here for Fox Spirit. Heartbreaker for Spooky as well. They will fall in 6th place. So they are, at least they can take solace. That's a 6 compared to a 7th, but by finding that Jotun, you definitely know they wanted a little bit more. But we have ourselves another possible, or we are going to see an elimination one way or another. The Rogues from Furies or Dr. Spoon's Fire. Can we see how this one goes?
Yeah, both holding on to their last life here, and they're going to try their best. Singe here got stunned out of its cast. Ramfight on the other side doesn't hit anything. Now the Seer gets a nice spin into everything. A Ramfight will hit at least 2 units. Furiox is going to be focused down, and the Vanguards are going to clean things up nicely here for Furies, taking down Dr. Spoon.
That Singe or that Seer had double Life Storm, and it might as well have just been placeholders and placebos. That did absolutely nothing in that fight, which is heartbreaking to see, but it also just goes to show the absolute firepower coming out there from Fury's team, and they're going to need every little bit of firepower that they can get, because they now have to deal with that fully evolved Monarch on the other side here of Sota. So not only did they have the extremely powerful Furiox, 2 Furioxes on the board now, actually. They have to deal with Monarch and Ramfight.
Oof. And those are looking dangerous. Perfect stat and level Monarch, Ramfight, everything here. The Goliath is also perfect. The Slashing is level 60, perfect stats. Let's see who can take it.
As of right now, the 2 Furioxes in the middle have been completely untouched. Never mind, they got deleted immediately as soon as he got focused. This is actually looking really good here for the Rogues on the side of Furies. Monarch does go untargetable. It's going to focus onto the Ramfights, but the Slashing is still living alongside that Malura. Big damage going towards Sota. Not enough to take them down. We very well could also lose Zico Perico. We will actually. Lobby 2's winner of game number 1 will fall in 4th place as Not Complain takes them down.
Oh my. Not Complain coming in big with a right plans and a number. Love to see it. And it feels like the
crazy to deal with.
The offensive augments feel a little bit stronger and dominating. I'm not sure why so many people pick the defensive ones, but Yeah, for example, on Not Complaint side, it also depends what you're playing. Because if you have that Umber, you want to have those legendary augments on it, and those work really good. Especially this one, it steals resistances, just making it tankier, its target squishier, and then yeah, the Infinity Core, crit chance and Omega power. That's just built for the rogues that have those big casts like an Umber or a Ram fight.
And I feel like just offensively, more people are accustomed to playing that way. More people in general just have more fun watching things blow up rather than making people jump into their brick wall. So it's something a little bit more, I guess, practiced. But one thing I did just see there that's going to be a huge benefit for Sota, I believe the Scoriox is online. Our favorite machine gun Snakey is going to be going absolutely bonkers and needs to keep themselves in the game. But I think they're going up against the Ghost. So this is our live match here for what could possibly be maybe even the final battle, depending on what happens with Sota or with Fury's Not Complaint in this instance. But like I said, Umber Online is going to get nuts.
Anything can happen at this point. Let's see how fast the Umber can chew through the Quinks. It doesn't look too fast here. Big laser coming out from the Sinnoh. Gets one more chance at a second one. Might be able to take down the Malura. Nope, is not going to do so. And the Riplands and the Umber are hyperactive and are shredding through the enemy team. 12,000 damage. 12,000 damage. On the enemy side, we don't see a lot of damage at all. And that is surely going to be it here for Furies. For Sota. Not Complain takes game number 2 here in the Leviathan semifinals.
So we're going to see once again just Umbers and water. Once they get going, it is just a little bit too much to handle. On the other side, on the other game, we're actually in our final battle as well. We do have I'm a Fishy and Squawk actually in this final battle. We do have a Granite style coming out here from I'm a Fishy. Meanwhile, it's Air, Tempest, Inferno with Enchanter kind of as the focus here for the other side here from Squawk. So I'm very interested to see how this will go. Blazonite's doing a ton of damage. There comes the Monarch right through the bunker. It does get focused down. I'm a Fishy. The wall is going to hold for at least now. Here comes the Kukaraf. Big stun 2-on-2 to possibly finish off this game. And they're focusing the Gazatep. Furiox has free reign to fire on and cook that chicken. And that is going to be Squawk winning game number 2 from Lobby 1.
Oh, wow. Perfectly synchronized yet again. Congratulations, Squawk. What a nice finish there. Oh my. Whew.
And I continue to curse Winnie. I am so sorry, Winnie.
He's alright. I'm sure he's not gonna throw any shade towards you.
No. It's all in good fun anyway. But why does this always happen? Except for once.
Because you're not the prophet, Silent, that's why.
I'm just a guy who gets loud. I'm not the prophet.
You're explosive, Silent. That's how we love it. We're gonna check if we can get some scores. That would be interesting to see. But I will have to curate them first.
Sounds good. I'm gonna very, very quickly reboot my game as well.
Yes, let's oil.
Good, clean slate.
Yes, clean slate, all the machines, wax the table, and we're gonna be right back with game number 3 here in the best of 5 semifinals. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in the Leviathan tournament, and we are ready to jump into game number 3. Without further ado, actually, because they have already started. They have already selected their weapons, and we're gonna go really quickly over them and see what we got here. We are following, again, lobby number 2, just so we have a little bit of more of a story and not so much confusion by switching lobbies all the time. We're gonna go back to lobby 1 after this game. So we have Double Boomerang from Sota and Furies. We got the Ripple Flail from Hollow. We got the Aqua Blaster from Fox Spirit and Spooky. The Sylphid Blade from Dr. Spoon. Lava Gauntlet from Not Complain. And Quake Maulers from Seco Perico.
So it looks like Fox and Spooky just got completely tired of getting run over by Umbers, so they're going to try and do it themselves based off of the Aqua Blaster selection. At least that's usually, I guess, the path that does end up going. But this is a little bit more traditional to how this patch kind of gets played. There's lots of water, there's lots of fire, and then there's usually maybe 1 or 2 outliers. Those outliers in this instance being Zico Perico, who've been playing more of like a defensive style for the most part, but picking up the Earth Rogue weapon this time. And then Dr. Spoon, it is a water weapon, but when I see the water fighter weapon, I usually think mud. And the fact that they've already got the Greater Gorilla, this is looking like a decent start, and no other monkeys on board right now.
Definitely mud. I would say maybe you can play something else as well, like 7 fighters, berserkers, but definitely gonna be mud in this case, I believe. Already 2...
At least there's a little overlap there.
Yeah, 2 monkeys in the bag already. We have Crimson Waste. Deal additional damage to players based on your current interest. So this is gonna speed up this game a lot, which is perfect actually, so we might be able to see the finale of the second lobby as well.
Yeah, the other lobbies over on Halcyon Sea in regards to the win streaks and loss streaks mattering more. So that one should in theory be I guess an average timed game, but here on Crimson Waste, we might be on fast forward.
I think with the additional win and loss streak, you also are a little bit faster than, let's say, a Tiger Boreal, because you have bigger economy, bigger units. Well, yeah, more levels, a little bit more damage, but not a lot. But yeah, Crimson Waste definitely is the fastest region. And we're gonna watch Dr. Spoon here trying to take down Hollow. Hollow on the win streak is sacrificing their baby Lynx, so that's gonna be a tough one. You don't want to get rid of your Lynx that early. That is basically all the damage dealers for Hollow, so big positional mistake here by Hollow on the win streak is gonna hurt him a lot, and he's gonna be taken down a notch.
No, that was decisive. I don't know what the heck happens there with one of the units, or is the Ranger actually on the side of Hollow. It sat in the Apon stun, but it chunked him for about half of its HP. I'm not sure if something comboed up or if the Apon was just that powerful, but I've never seen a stun from an Apon do that much damage. It was rather surprising. I'm assuming something else would have had to have kind of joined it there in this instance. Not Complain very early on, already finding a dash.
Yep, you love to see it, and look at that. It's level... well, no, that's not very impressive.
Just a little guy.
It's a little guy. Let's see over here. Perfect raid, level 50, for example. Everywhere you look, there is these Illuvials, and this time the Lynx is gonna be in a good position to just clean up the battlefield. We can see it here on the damage on both sides for both players. This is really the staple unit for Leviathan and for Illuvium in general. It feels like I had a hard time finding those Lynxes on the marketplace with good levels, good stats. They are very, very wanted.
Now, I know, at least personally, like going out into the overworld myself, I do like my occasional stage 1, stage 2 runs. I honestly feel like I have a better chance finding evolved Lynxes than baby Lynxes. It's really weird because normally that's not actually like how it would traditionally go. Normally you find baby versions or the stage 1s much easier, but I'm finding like virtuous Lynxes, relentless, stoics all over the place. Heck, even the fully evolved versions I'm finding, and I could not find a baby Lynx for the life of me. So my set of baby Lynxes, while one might be hollow and it is rather pleasing to The eye, it has absolutely terrible stats, which is the complete contrary to what we are seeing here from the green squad. A little Ramphy already loaded up with tank augments actually is a little bit surprising, but we're going to see Sota swarm on down, and Fury's taking a lot of heat early in this game.
Yes, sir. Sota is on a big win streak here. So that's gonna be nice to follow along, and I really like the setup. Look at that. We got 5 bulwarks and 2 small lynxes. That is all you need in Leviathan. Let's see how far he can push it with that.
Yeah, this is so beautiful because it doesn't even necessarily give away your game plan either. You have the 5 bulwarks, so you have the front line. What kind of carries you end up putting here? It can be anybody's guess. You can go Scion, Fighter, does not matter. You can still just roll at your leisure, or just load up on credits, and you're still going to hold the line rather nicely. We are going to see Sota's rogues dive in towards the lynx. Ramphy is going to get ignored, but at least doing a decent chunk to one of the baby lynxes. Sota's front line, though, is kind of starting to falter a little bit. It's only the Grotto left, and then just that one little baby lynx. So many low health bars here on Sota's team, but just not enough to get the job done. The Lone Ranger in the bottom left-hand corner is so close, but not quite. It's going to be able to get the done.
I guess we jinxed them. Oh, what? Hollow is the one with 5 bulwarks. Yep, so the 5 bulwarks did win, but it wasn't Sota that had them. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about this composition because it's absolutely beautiful. You have 5 bulwarks, you have Harbinger online, and you have Toxic online. So very early, the Ranger, both composite traits activated, which gives you such a big power spike. And then you have the double lynxes, and one of those lynxes is a bulwark as well. So it gets the full 36 extra resistances. So this looks like a perfect early to mid-game team.
A nice mixture of stop hitting yourself, and then the lower that I go, the more damage I'm going to deal back at you. It's the perfect storm, and you don't even have your carry secured yet.
Yep. Quick PvE round. Maybe not enough time to take a sneak peek at the other lobby, and there's not enough decided yet. Let's stick with this one. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot more water definitely meta in Leviathan, right? Because, again, we have 4 water weapons. It seems a common theme next to the classic fire weapons that are so dominant at the moment.
I mean, we've seen in IPL, we've seen here in Leviathan as well, just how valued the Umber can be. And I guess if you have an instance where you're trying to get ready for the tournament and you just have to power level one thing, Umber might be a wise choice because, yes, the rest of your team is going to die, but that's basically what happens with these Umber teams anyway. It just becomes Umber versus the world. And if you have a strong enough Rake and strong enough Umber, you might be able to get the job done. Granted, I wonder if it's going to be super contested this time. Not so bad as of right now. We're seeing an Alfie come on through here from Not Complain as well as this Rake. And here we are. Yeah, it's just down to the carries. The front line has completely been evaporated, but the on-target ability, the sustain, it is exactly what everybody has been fearing. Heck, even Arctace is still, or even the little Ace is getting involved, kind of peppering down. And that is exactly what Not Complain wanted to see.
Yep, I was still kind of locked into Hollow's team, which I found so beautiful in the early game. But hey, we are far advanced already. It seems like into the mid game where we have a perfect stat and level Rake with really good augments and really good drone augments as well. Combat Rhythm here active, so Steam active as well. Perfect storm coming out here for Not Complain, it seems like.
Kirito calling out in the chat as well. Rangers, of course, they're not like the Illuvials. They don't scale. They don't have stats. So seeing that these Rangers are a little bit squishier, that when I was surprised that the app-on maybe popped the Ranger earlier, that might be why, because yeah, there is no scaling on the Ranger and Leviathan. My Ranger can't be better than yours unless I can eventually take my MMO Ranger and bring it into Arena, which might be a talk for another day. But for the meantime, we do have Zico Perico, who's been doing solid so far in this tournament, going up against Not Complain, who of course has that insane Rake. Let's see if it can do it again.
At the moment, I don't think anything can bust this Rake, but I'm happy to be proven wrong. Ranger here is going to be a one-shot. As pointed out, the Rangers are just a little bit too weak in Leviathan at the moment. They need a little bit of a buff, and it's again not gonna happen this time. Just too much damage here coming out from the rogues. Is it 7, 8 rogues already, actually, with Predator and Revenant just bursting down the enemy team here?
I mean, I guess that's one way, or there's the two ways to do it. Eliminate everything as fast as possible, and so that everybody focuses the rake, and then never mind locking it down, just crit it. I guess is another way of doing it as well. Also to give the shout out to the Quinks on the side of Zico Preco as well, because that is one of the big things that you do need to kind of stop these rakes and stop these umbers from going crazy, is actually having some sort of crowd control, some sort of way to stop that rake or that umber from casting. That Quinks is the exact answer alongside just being swarmed.
You are completely right. I'm just watching the other game now. Should we have a quick rundown what's happening over there?
Gladly, let's take a look as this battle is in progress. There we go. Currently in this lobby, of course, we're on Halcyon C for game number 3. I'm a Fishy with a Toxic Aegis composition is currently leading a charge. Nariba from OLA doing quite nicely there with an air and fire mixture. Doesn't quite have the Inferno online just yet. But then there is, of course, Slicks. We have a little bit of movement here, actually. Gonna hold on for just a second, let some of these finish up here. But Winnie currently in 3rd with Water with a little bit of backup from the Scions. Web 3, classic Arcanite Inferno. Same thing for Slicks, it looks like. Mr. Creed looking for some sort of fighter-based composition based around nature. Then we do have Invokers for Squawk. They do have the Sepphoris, they have the Archelion, but they are pretty low on health. And then Patat is going to round up the lobby here, going for rogues.
All right. Thank you for that. Let's run back to the live game where Not Complaining gets taken out instantly by Fury's fires.
I mean, Furies is looking good right now. Going for the classic, of course, Inferno Arcanite, and they have the Inferno already online. They have the Furiox, which is already loaded up on augments. May not be the perfect augments, but it's still loaded up nonetheless. You have even a little foe. The little Birdo is here for maybe some late game potential, maybe adding on an additional Arcanite if things go their way. And they even have the Seer for some pretty serious frontline defense. So everything kind of going their way here in game number 3.
Looking good indeed, and the players that it is not going in their way, it seems like at the moment, those two that are battling it out right now, it's a bloodfest at the bottom. Not Complain versus Spooky. That is gonna be a tough one for any of these players to lose. Let's see who can be victorious in this one.
And this is so frustrating. Both of them hard focused a rake, and neither of them have, or hard focused an umber, and neither of them got it. They're both just stepping on each other's toes. So whoever gets this is going to be in a fantastic spot. What a shot's coming on through from the Mammoth on the red side there from Spooky, sending that rake to Narnia, but it gives it an opportunity to kind of reset and just go untargetable. But the rake is on top of the other rake. But the sustain, though, on the side of the green side is going to probably be the difference maker. Tianti is gone, the rake is gone, the Axon is gone, and Spooky is going to end up falling down to 6. Not an elimination, because that was a rather close fight. But now they're definitely on death's door.
Yes, that was the last straw, or the second to last straw for Spooky. He has one more chance. And Not Complain was praying to knock him out right here, because like you said, he wants to pick up all the dashes from him and get that rake, because yeah, we have also Fox Spirit contesting it, and that's what usually happens, right? You have that one super overpowered unit. Well, everybody suddenly builds it. And we have, for any newcomers, we have a combined card pool. Which means you if everybody goes for it, you're not gonna find them in the cards that you draw for your shop.
Yeah, much less chance to find it if everybody is going for it. No matter how many credits you have, you can be rolling all you want and you still may not find it. Because looking at Not Complain and then looking at Spooky, going into that PvE round, I believe they're both at least above 50, 55 and above 52 respectively. They're waiting for one of them to fall. But at the same time, because they're not spending, they're not getting any bigger. Spooky's forced to actually bring in the second rake as additional damage, additional backup into this fight, going up against Zico Perico, who's basically been, for the most part, uncontested with these rogues. Let's see how this one goes. Can Spooky hang on?
We got a lot of repositioning coming out here last second. Ramfight won't find too many targets, so good job here from the green side. And also the Rake is in a pretty good position here in the top left corner. It is looking not too bad for green. Here comes the Ramfight Omega, this time hitting a lot of units. One Rake goes down, the other one stands strong. Ramfight is down, Quinks is down, and that's gonna be Spooky holding on one more time. Not Complain now, down to 4 HP.
All right, good on Spooky. The hang on now has to go up against Dr. Spoon, who I believe was going for a mud-based composition. And it's such a painful spot here because it's actually a reverse of what we normally see. They actually found the Exalted Monk here. It is there, ready to rock. They have the Exalted App on, but it's actually the Gorilla that is just stopping them from getting that full 4 mud composition. They still at least got the Berserker online, so that Monk here is going to be nuts. But there is no passing of stats with the way this team currently is. And with the Rake being able to pop units over and over again, you really wish you had that passing of stats.
Yep, it all comes down again to positioning, and we have a little bit of a corner clump here in the bottom left against those rogues coming in. The Rake, the double Rakes are going to be stuck on the Coral Blue for quite a while. Stun coming out from the Apon in the bottom left corner. The rogues are still hacking away, now finally being able to delete the backline. Monk here versus the Rakes is doing a great job, and it's gonna be enough for Dr. Spoon here, taking down Spooky, and Not Complain holds on. Now it is his chance to find the Umber and win the game.
Might need to bug you for a refresh on the credits to see where Not Complain is at in particular. But the Gorilla, there you go, Dr. Spoon, you found it. That is going to be 4 mud available, and this is kind of heartbreaking here for Not Complain. We see now that with the credits, yes, the Rakes are back, or the dashes are back in the pool, but you have 5 credits. Even if you rolled and you found one, you can't afford one without selling something. And you're going to have to play with what you have right here, right now, with Zico Perico, who's also on death's door, but has so many more fully evolved Illuvials, including that Slashing.
That's gonna be so tough versus the Slash, and it feels like Not Complain just ran out of power here, battling versus Spooky, both contesting each other, but the Slashing is going down, and actually everything is down very fast. Not Complain knocks out Zico Perico, Slashing no chance here. And that was very surprising. Fox Spirit down to 1 HP as well. He's also going for the Rake. He's a little bit close, so he needs only 2 more dashes.
The Rogues just couldn't find the critical targets. Like, sure, they eliminated some of the Illuvials on the side of Not Complain, but it was never the Rake. It was very late before they even got Sinolf. Sinolf got a surprising amount of damage in there. There might have been an Alfie at the time, but nonetheless, the Sinolf is there now. But more damage on the board.
Found it.
That is finally the Umber, but that's going over into Fox Spirit's pocket, actually, and they absolutely needed it. 1 HP in a dream to try and keep themselves in the game. They have to play perfectly to just have any chance here. No more mistakes.
Yes, the Umber here in the backline doing great job versus the Phosphorus. Almost taking down the Artes. Manages to fly away, which is going to be really good here for the red side. One more cast for the Umber coming out. Not much lifesteal, not enough to heal back up at the red fight. It's able to take it out, and with that, Umber has been taken out, which is really, everybody up here is having a sigh of relief at this moment. That is huge.
Everybody that went for the Umber has been eliminated, and then Zico Perico also falling as well. But that is absolutely incredible. There was so much damage built into that Umber. It could absolutely carry, but it didn't have anything in regards to sustain, and it was able to get taken down because, of course, you might go untargetable, but Rampfight does not care if you're untargetable. You're just going to hit somewhere around you anyway with that Omega. Pops the Umber, and that is going to be the end of the line here for Fox Spirit, even though they found exactly what they were looking for. Definitely a heartbreaker, but we're now down to our top 4.
Ooh, they are all so happy the Umber is out. Yep, just missing something like a combat rhythm or something with Omnivamp. That would have made a big difference here for the Umber. Fox Spirit out in 5th place yet again, I believe. Surely not going to be happy about this one. It is a best of 5 though, so you still have a lot of chances, and An average of 5th is pretty good if you're aiming for top 4. You just need a few podium finishes after this one. Fury, Soto, Dr. Spoon, Hollow, top 4. They're gonna be happy and they're gonna try their best to get up a little bit more. Just securing 2nd place, 3rd place. It doesn't have to be about the win in this top 4 elimination series. It's just about having a really good average placement. And yeah, these players are gonna try their best as we watch Hollow versus Furies right here.
Jotun online here for Fury Hype, and it's fully loaded up with tank augments. This bear is going to be an absolute beast, but it means nothing if the rest of your units run ahead of you and just fall like lemmings off a cliff. So many of these fighters get eliminated before the bear even gets into the fight, but it may still not even matter. There might have been some sacrificial lemmings, but it gets that bear into the front lines to take care of that Blazonite, do some big damage to Hollow. Not enough to eliminate, but now on the bubble, one more loss and they're out of here.
Yep, it's gonna be Dr. Spoon versus Hollow, the win streak versus the bubble sitter. And yeah, that's... I'm not sure who can take this one. I think Ripeland's got it with the 4 mud and everything.
Yeah, Dr. Spoon scored that the Riplands right in that last round. So now you have that 3rd Berserker added on in. Such a powerful unit, even by itself, let alone here on this mud squad. And this is the true 4 mud. This is essentially Disneyland for the kind of composition that Spoon would have wanted to go for.
Yep. It's all gonna be down to the Blaze Knight. Can the Blaze Knight carry? Will the Gorilla one-shot it? We're gonna find out in a second. No repositions coming out. So these Fernite and Blaze Knight Whirlwinds might go a little bit to the wrong side. Blaze Knight here being focused by the Gorilla. Gorilla doing its best to take it down, and it will do so. And in the meantime, already everything has fallen. And yeah, that's gonna be Hollow out in 4th. Dr. Spoon looking to try to win the lobby here with his big team with Mud and Berserkers.
That Gorilla was so fixated on taking down that Blazonite. That wasn't even funny. It did not move an inch. Every taunt, every dash going directly towards it until it finally fell. And now the lone non-fire user here is going to be Dr. Spoon with that 4 mud up against the 2 boomerangs, which is actually kind of a perfect situation because they're constantly stepping on each other. Neither of them have Scoriox. Neither of them even have Monarch in this instance. Can Dr. Spoon maybe find the kill on these 2 before they have a chance to go completely fully evolved?
Let's see it. It's going to be a tough fight. Both of these players really need to win it. And again, look at the green side. They just eliminated everyone in 10 seconds. I don't know what's happening, but Berserker Mud is definitely killing people very fast, and yeah, that's already it.
And I think that they either had to go up against Dr. Spoon by themselves, or the other one had to go up against Dr. Spoon's Ghost, because they both got deleted basically immediately. Furies is the one in the worst case scenario here, but I'd argue they have barely the better team, literally because of the polar bear in this instance. But yep. Soda, if they do lose, unless there's some sort of Crimson Waste extra bonus damage, they might be able to get one more chance.
Let's see it. It is here. The Fire versus the Fire, and the Artes are taking to flight. One is already taken down, shot down out of the air. Ramfight not able to kill the Furiox here in the backline. Jotun going down, and Red Side winning this by 1 snake length. This is going to be Furies going down in 3rd place. Sota holding on. And Dr. Spoon still on the win streak.
Okay, Soda, I see you. Make me eat my words, why don't you? Little baby polar bear versus completely fully evolved one does not matter. Just shred, again, everything around it. And I guess that's the one issue with the polar bear, because you do want to have that thing in the front lines, but at the same time, you might not necessarily want it to be the first thing tanking, or even you are like focused on it being the tank. The rest of your fighters are so damn fast that they run ahead of you and just knock themselves out before the bear really gets a chance to get rolling. I think they have the Chronoflux on that, or the Hyperforce reactor as well. So it was hoping for a longer fight, and it just did not happen.
Yep, we just showed a little bit of the other lobby, but we're gonna swap over to them in just one match. So let's focus on our current fight right here. The players have 40 seconds to prepare, so this is a long time, you would think, but there's a lot of things to do. They still have a little bit of credits. They are rolling down right now. Actually, credits are looking pretty bad. It's all about positioning at this point. Maybe redo your augments a little bit. And we see a bit of a corner composition coming out here, trying to protect, I guess, the Furiox from the Gorilla. The problem is the Gorilla will jump to your carry in most cases with the first ability cast anyway, so you cannot really protect from the Gorilla, which is one of the biggest advantages of the mod. Let's see if the Furiox can do it and who is going to be successful here.
Yeah, like a honey badger, the Gorilla don't give a damn about what's in front of the carries that it wants to take down. Immediately going for the Ranger, immediately going for the Furiox. It is going to get out of dodge, and it's going to leave it for the Rip Lance to take care of. This Mud Squad, absolute demolition here, and that's going to be the knockout. And Dr. Spoon is going to be your winner here for game number 3 and lobby number 2. Beautifully done. Congrats to Dr. Spoon.
It was again a 10-second match. I don't know how much damage or what happened, dude.
Does somebody have the time breakdowns and want to send that to AGDQ? Awesome Games Done Quick. Like, let's get that over and call this one a speed run. Dr. Spoon, beautifully done. Uncontested mud for the most part. Found Monk here so fast. Just had to wait and grab Gorilla later on. And it was just all downhill because the fires kept on tripping on each other.
Yep, as they usually do. A quick look here at the replay. It's gonna be really a quick one. I just want to see, not focus so much on the backline, but maybe how fast Seer dies and to what. It's just 2 right blends. Well, everything just does so much damage. Yeah, just everything.
The perfect little handoff there to the Gorilla just gets out of dodge, makes it so that the Furiox is going to get taunted by the clone and just leaves it for Rip Lance. Love to see it. I do have the next game currently ready to go.
True.
And we are in our top 3 on what could potentially be a final battle. We're in an NPC round though, so we can hang on. Like, we're not in too much of a rush, but it's actually a lot of these players that were down towards the bottom of that lobby having a great game. Patat is currently leading. Mr. Creed in second, but then there's Squawk, who's been doing a fantastic run so far here in this semifinal. And then Ariba, Slicks, I'm a Fishy, Winnie again going to fall in 7th, unfortunately, here for my predictions. And then Web3 having a very, very rough game. As you can see, there was 3 fires, and similar to what we just saw in the other game, they just tripped over each other.
Yep, when there is fire, people are going to take it. And it's a little bit of a gamble if you're going to be hyper contested or not. Here we are in the final moments of lobby number 1, which we're gonna spectate after this game. So a little warm-up here for game number... Is it 4 already? The games are going so fast in Leviathan, I believe. It really makes a difference. Just everything is doing so much more damage.
It does help that we don't have any Brightland steps or anything as of yet. But one way or another, we're going to see somebody get knocked out right here, right now. We've got an Invoker comp that's actually featuring 2 Sin-Offs to try and get the job done here from Squawk. Meanwhile, look at that big Alberto on the red side. It is going to be absolutely devastating. Pretty decent in terms of stats, if I do recall correctly as well. Not too shabby, so it is going to hit like a truck. That first stun coming out and the shots from that water laser is going to go directly into that Adorito and through the tank line as well. It's going to survive. What a heal coming out here from Nadarito. Phosphorus is still just opening fire, but they're stuck on the Goliaths. This is a 4 verdant squad coming out here from Squawk, and there's just so much healing, so much damage. Nobody wants to die. But the big thing that happens here for the red side, Adorito did go down. Fernite, the attack speed buffs are gone, and the interrupts are also gone. These invokers are free to just absolute rain down whatever they want, but the line has been broken right at the last second. Phosphorus, can you get there in time? Look at the damage coming on through from all the rest of the squad here on the red side, and it is not going to be enough. Still, the overtime pulses are going to be enough to send Mr. Creed packing in 3rd.
Oh my god, who won, the Phosphorus or the C4s?
Sepphoris got it because of that overtime.
No way, in the 1-on-3 at the very end. Oh my god.
I'm so shocked, but again, I always sleep on that little damage reduction that the Sepphoris gets upon casting, and maybe, just maybe, that counted towards the overtime pulses as well. I thought Sepphoris had it, but it was not enough. We're going to have an even tankier squad. Blotto is online, nearly perfect, but has tons of help nonetheless to get this job done. Hold the line versus these rogues from Patat is going to be incredible.
Yep, and looking at the Synalf, interesting choice here to bring out double Synalf, because the second one is level 36, far away from perfect Omega power. So definitely just trying to buff up the C4s and the Ranger more. The more Invoker on the board, the more Omega power you're gonna stack. Here everybody is biting out their teeth on the Blotto in the backline. Ramp fight, Omegas go up, go down. But the Verdant keeps healing. The Arcalion keeps healing. And there's so much CC going around as well. One more ramp fight, Omega, it just is nothing against those huge tanks, those Invokers, and that's gonna be not enough. Patat's holding on with 1 HP.
So close there for Squawk, but not quite enough just yet. What does Patat need to actually get themselves in this? Do they need a Rampfire one-shot or something? Which is still a tough task. That is such a tanky squad. I don't even know if you max this thing out with Omega power that it can maybe pull off a one-shot.
Yep, looking here at the traits, we got 4 Vanguards, double Verdant versus 4 Verdant, double Invoker and Aegis. These are maxed out teams here in Halcyon Sea.
One more time for these players. Let's see who will take game number 3. This time that Blotto got immediately shredded. Jump scare Polar Bear actually with a rogue chip. Going to be trying to deal with that Blotto. But again, the Verdant is making things so irritating. Blotto is so low, but not enough to get them done. There goes the Quinks. The charms are gone. And this one's not even close. Patat is going to get absolutely run over by the Invokers of Squawk. Squawk is going to win game number 3 here for Lobby 1.
That seems a little bit like a repeat of yesterday's IPL 1000. Invokers here dominating with the big old tanks in front of it. Just 5 bulwarks and slap a bunch of Invokers behind it. Call it a day. Well played here by Squawk. Winning the 2nd game in a row, I believe.
I believe so, or at least 2nd one for sure in their lobby. Just fantastic job once again. And this is just what happens. We know Invokers are strong. And we've seen this in the Illuvium Pro League as well. For some reason, there only seems to be one person who's actually willing to go for Invokers, and then they look absolutely super busted. But yeah, if there's only one person playing a certain composition, and they get everything they want, it should look busted. And when you're having all these lobbies where everybody is just going to go into a mosh pit to try and find a Scoriox, Invokers are just kind of like sitting back, just like, yeah, go ahead, guys, you do your thing. I'm just going to build my tank line and screw you up as soon as I can start finding tier 5s. Heck, they didn't even need the fully evolved versions of those Synalfs to get the job done. Heck, not even max level or statistics to even get the job done. They just found the comp that nobody was going for.
That is exactly what happened. We're gonna check out the scores in just a bit because there is a lot going on and we want to see who has a chance here at getting into the grand finals tomorrow.
Yeah, it's all about making it into that top 4. As we see the TOs in live action trying to get this all situated. Almost there, I am sure. But
yes,
looking at group number 2.
I'm sorry, we are used to Erica. Shout out to her. She is so very fast, but great job here by the Ola team hosting this tournament. The spreadsheet is filled out, and what do we have? We have total points of 23 here for Squawk. Wow.
Yeah, so that is 2 wins in a row, and the game they didn't win was a 2nd. So they are absolutely killing it so far here in this one, on an absolute perfect path to try and get themselves into that grand finals. Meanwhile, the rest of this is absolutely still up in the air. It looks like Patat is currently in 2nd in this lobby, but then with let's see here. Like Nariba is up there. Slicks is up there as of right now, but like Web3's right behind them. I'm a Fishy's right in front of them, actually. So a very, very close lobby, even still after 3 games.
Let me
Group 2, we'll see here in just a second. I think you're sorting them out for me. Thank you for doing so.
I do a quick spreadsheet magic here. Oh, that was the wrong button. Should have it in a second. Sorted by G. There we go.
There we go. Screw it, we'll do it live. But Sota is going to be leading this one. Just very consistent play all around. Didn't win a lobby at all, but still third, second, not bad in the slightest. That was a big game, though, for Dr. Spoon. Being able to get that win, putting them into second as of right now, but this is still, again, a very close lobby. Not complain. Had a rough game number 3, but at least they got that win in game 2. Zico Perico, similar situation, but with game number 1, they ended up winning, and a rough games 2 and 3. Fury's our IPL winner from yesterday. Had a rough game 1, but that's a third and a third. And then Fox Hollow Spooky on the outside looking in, but could still absolutely bring it back with a couple of good games.
I wonder, can Squawk just go AFK? Squawk just go AFK? He will play no matter what, but mathematically, no. People can still catch up. It's still 2 games. That's the beauty of best of 5. This is the most competitive format that you can find. It will definitely seed out the weeds, weed out the whatever. It's gonna bring the best players for us tomorrow for the grand final, so that's perfect.
Yeah, 100%. And with Squawk in this instance, yeah, you can with I guess a racing reference, you can save fuel right now and still make it to the end. But if you go to pit lane and park, you will get past. So this is still definitely not out of contention for something absolutely crazy to happen and knock them down. But they have set themselves up into a very, very good spot. Even like a couple of 5ths or 6ths or something in this instance should still be enough, as long as they don't like double last. That would be heartbreaking.
Yeah, and here from 2nd to 7th, we have a really, or from 2nd.
The actual cut line
to
itself
6th.
fight is brutal. This is insane.
Yeah, anyone here can easily make it happen. Anyone here can easily make it happen. It's going to be interesting. After the match number 4, next round, we're going to have, I'm sure one of these 2 lobbies are going to be nail biters, where so many people could come into the top 4 and qualify for the grand finals tomorrow. And that's what we're going to watch.
Yeah, so a lot of excitement to see who ends up actually making it into our grand finals. Still so many people up for grabs. Nobody is safe. And looking forward to the next games.
Exactly. We have 2 more games to come in the Illuvium Leviathan tournament. I hope you guys having fun. Grab your snacks, grab your drinks. We're going to go into a quick break, and we're going to be back in just 2-3 minutes with game number 4 here in the best of 5 semi-finals. See you in a bit.
Welcome back to the OLA/Illuvium Leviathan tournament. We are about to get right into game number 4 in just a moment's time after an incredible first couple of games with both of these lobbies. Still so many people, basically everybody, still in contention for a grand finals visit tomorrow. Looking forward to see as we hop in with lobby number 1. Been a couple games since we got to see them going here. And of course, that does feature the person that I had placed my theoretical bet on, of course, being Winnie, and I'm looking to see if they can turn this one around a little bit. They've had definitely a rough time to start things off, but on the contrary, Squawk has been absolutely on fire.
Yes, sir, and it starts exactly the other way here in the first PvP round. Winnie taking down Squawk, and Winnie looking to go on to a win streak here in Crimson Waste. Players are selecting their weapons right now. We see an early title shift here from Winnie, that's interesting. Also a second nature rogue weapon here coming out from Slicks. The Embaling Rod, the infamous, coming from Armor Fishy. Galewind Bow from Nareba. The Groove Sword, nature fighter, which we don't see too many times, coming out from Web3 Gaming. And then 2 fire weapons here from Mr. Creed and Squawk with the Gauntlet and the Boomerang.
When will you learn to contest these invokers? Nobody is contesting them at all, and this time it is setting things up quite nicely for I'm a Fishy to maybe just cruise to a podium finish, if not better, with the way that this is shaping up. But in true Leviathan fashion, we've got basically 2 baby lynxes with whatever else you could basically find on the board for the most of these players. If you're at the top of the board, you probably found your lynxes.
Yes, we can see it here. The first 4 players are the 4 players with the lynxes. Looking beautiful. And a lot of water here early on. We have the Grokko as the tier 0. As the Water Grokko as the Grokko for this game. Which pairs so beautifully with Color Blue and Atlas. For triple water with a water ranger. You get 4 water, 3 bulwarks. I really like. Grokko is such a nice unit. When you get that on stage 2, you feel like, that's gonna be a good early game. The links of choice this time is gonna be the Empath links with fire. So we're gonna see if somebody goes actually for the stage 3 links. But we see here the stage 2 links coming out for Vinny early on.
That might actually find some use too, because other than the virtuous Ember links, the only way that you can find a fire empath. Geez. The only way you could find a fire empath is if an Atipo happens to be fire. So it does open the door for some different kind of compositions to really come around, but you do have to kind of think of that on the fly. I'm not sure if everybody's going to necessarily be on top of that, but we can maybe even see like fire-based enchanter, say for like McCreed, for example, or Mr. Creed. But
yeah,
we'll see. I wonder if that comes into play.
I do think I have a little disconnect, which gives us a perfect time to check out the second game here.
Sounds good. This other game currently in progress is actually on Brightland Steps. So this one is going to be going the distance. And currently, as it stands of this moment, Spooky, who's been having a little bit of a harder time